What's up guys, Stephen Cult of Mac here, and today I'm going to do the ever popular What's on my iPhone video. Now I don't do these all too often as my apps don't change from week to week, but since the last one, which I think was about a year ago, enough has changed to make it worthy of a video. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. In case you haven't guessed from the title of this video, I am using the iPhone 10 in space grey. I've had it since release date, I absolutely love it. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out my full review, I'll link it in the description down below. Speaking of links, I'll make sure to link my wallpaper in the description down below. I am always getting comments on what wallpaper am I using, can I leave links? I change them that often and don't keep track of it, so normally I can't find them again. But this one, I know where I got it, I'll make sure to link it in the description down below, along with links to the case I'm currently using, which is the Lux Armor Classic. I've done a full video on it, check that out as well with all of the other cases that I currently use for my iPhone 10. It's a great case, really minimalistic, really super slim, adds no kind of bulk to the phone itself. There's no branding on it, and it's actually surprisingly protective. I recently dropped my phone carrying a load of camera equipment to the car, dropped it in a gravel car park. I thought the screen was done for. Thankfully, all I've got is a little scuff on the case, but other than that, the phone was fine. I actually went for the 64GB version of the iPhone 10 purely because I think £1,000 is enough for a phone. I know it's only a little bit extra to go to the next level of storage, which is what, 128GB, but £1,000 was my limit at the time. Plus, the phone I had before the iPhone 10 was the iPhone 7. I had a 128GB version, always had loads of room left over. I used to have about 40GB spare all of the time. And before the iPhone 7, I used to buy 16GB versions of the phones, and I was always fine with that. But let's take a look at what's actually on my iPhone, the layout I have and such. I'll make sure to put a screen recording here so you can see what I can see. And my homepage is pretty much stock, pretty standard. There's two reasons for this, which I have discussed in previous iPhone tours in the past. Firstly, I had the very first iPod Touch when that was released back in 2007, 2008, I think it was along with the first iPhone 2G. I don't think you could actually move the icons around back then, so I got pretty used to how the layout was. And then secondly, I make a lot of video tutorials, so for anyone watching those videos who've just come from Android, it makes it nice and easy for them to know where everything should be. So most of this first page is pretty much stock, how it boots up when you first load iOS up for the first time. I've got the standard mail clients just because I use that for all my personal emails. I have done for a very long time. It works great for me. Calendar, photos, camera, nothing to talk about there. Then on the second row, I have got Alarmy. I am awful at getting up in the morning. I'm constantly late to meet friends, for meetings, to do these videos. Always running late because I stay up late and I get up late. But this app is great for scheduling alarms. As you can see, I've got a couple for the same kind of time. I want to be up by 8:30, so I've got 3 scheduled in there. Normally it's a lot more. I have got rid of it just so I don't look too bad. Then there's a few other little bits in this app, such as sleep music. I've never used it personally. I tend to fall asleep watching YouTube videos on my Apple TV. It's just a nice little app. It's got some extras in there, but that's Alarmy. Again, some more stock apps. The Home app is one I've actually only started using recently with the addition of my HomePod, and I've got my office lights all set up to it so I can turn them on and off. Don't know if you can see that. Notes and reminders, again, I like to keep these stock. I have tried other alternatives in the past, but the Notes app is great for jotting video ideas down, any kind of notes that I need to remind myself of something. Then the Reminders app, I actually tend to use more for shopping. It's really easy to add my fiance onto the list, so when she's out shopping, I can add whatever I need on. I have tried other kind of Reminders apps in the past, but I tend to always keep coming back to this one. The TV app, the Apple TV remote app, I am constantly using my Apple TV. I love it to bits, so this makes it really nice and easy. Plus, I'm constantly losing the little Apple Siri remote. I've got a 4-year-old daughter, so she'll pick it up, put it somewhere else, and I won't see it for 2 weeks, and I'll find it by accident. So at least I've got a way of using my Apple TV. Settings, YouTube. Obviously, I'm addicted to YouTube. I make videos on it for a living. Slack is what we use for Cult of Mac to interact with each other or the other writers. My boss, Leander. It's just a great app to make sure no one's working on 2 stories at the same time. They can send me graphic requests or photography requests, and I can get them to check my posts before they go live on the site because I'm not the best writer. Lightfix, so this is the app that I use for all of my lights. You would have seen it in other videos before. I've got 3 Lightfix lights set up on my desk, so I can turn them all off like so. And now I look a little bit overexposed. I've just realised, so if this video looks like crap, I apologise. But I can change the colours to whatever I want, to turn them back. and it's just a great app. I love LifeX lights. Sorry, I'm too busy playing with the lights. I'm actually going to give Philips Hue a go in a couple of weeks as I've seen a product that I really want to try out. I have tried Philips Hue lights in the past, but I've always preferred LifeX, and they tended to be cheaper in the past. I've not really kept up to speed with it, so I will be checking them out. If you have Philips Hue lights, you've tried LifeX lights, let me know in the comments section down below which you think is better. Then at the bottom right, I've got my Netatmo security app. So I've already done a video on this as well. I'll try and remember to link it in the description down below. But I've got 2 security cameras, one in my living room, then one at the front of the house, so I can keep an eye on my cars, make sure none of the kids are running into them with scooters again, which has happened, and I managed to catch them. From here, I can monitor any motion while I'm away, while I'm out of the house. It will record them for me. There's a built-in memory card. Then it also streams live straight to the app, so I can click play. It'll take a second, and then I've got a live feed of my living room. Then the next screen along, everything has a place, everything is in its folders. I don't like pages and pages of apps just spread about. I like to have some sort of organization here. My dad is awful for that. He has no folders, everything is just spread across the phone. It drives my OCD a little bit crazy. So the first folder is extras, which is all of the Apple apps that I don't tend to use very often. But I don't see the point in deleting them because as soon as I do, I'll need them for a video. And it's just a constant battle of deleting and downloading. So it's easy just to keep them in a folder, put them out the way and out of mind. The only one that I do use in here is the Apple Watch app, more for when I am updating them. Other than that, I barely ever go in the Apple Watch app. Then I've got Files. Files is a bit of a funny app. If it comes in handy, but it's not something that I use all the time. It's not a true file manager as such. It's got a lot of limitations still, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. Then I have got Dataman. Dataman is an app I have had for a really long time. I highly recommend it. It's come in handy for me recently, purely because I don't trust any of the mobile phone carriers. I have had a ton of issues with them in the past for overcharging for things and claiming that I've used too much internet when I haven't. So Dataman tracks how much internet you've used over 4G and Wi-Fi. It separates them out nicely, as you can see in the bottom left and right corners there. And it comes in really handy. I'd had to do this recently as EE were claiming that I went over my data allowance. My app proved that I didn't have to end up paying anything extra. It also has a really handy widget so you can see it at any time. It tracks the data really well. And the colour will change from green to amber to red for when you're getting close to your data limit. Then I've got my social apps folder, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's nothing I really need to talk about there. Then there's Vero. Vero's an app I jumped on early with, hoping it was going to be the next Facebook, but it really isn't. It's not got much substance to it. And all the people that I found to follow, it's pretty much just British GQ over and over again. Zack Snyder is on there, and then that is about it. If you've been using Vero and you like it, let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Am I missing something here, or is the app just a lot of hype and no substance? Then I have got my entertainment folder. I will admit this one is a little bit messy. I've got Netflix, BT TV, BT Sports. I'm not massively into sports, but thanks to this app I can get my American football for Florida Gators. I do enjoy watching that when they do show it. Amazon Prime Video, BBC, ITV and Channel 4. So those three are all the big popular TV stations here in the UK, so most of the programmes that I do actually watch when I get a chance are on there. BT Wi-Fi, so I can find Wi-Fi hotspots when out and about. Speed test to test my internet again. I don't trust any providers, so I like to check I'm getting what I'm paying for. Hoop, I have discussed in my previous iPhone tour. It's a great app for finding activities for kids in your local area on a specific day or a specific time. They can be free, they can be low cost. It's just really handy for when you are stuck with a kid on a rainy day, or when all of the standard activity parks or the places you'd normally go are busy on a sunny day like it is today. It is absolutely boiling today. But it's just a great app for finding things to do with your kids that are a little bit different. Then I've got Spotify, which is an app I actually don't use. I've just got it there because I did my Sonos versus HomePod speaker test video. Obviously, it's a pain in the backside to get Apple Music and things like that onto a Sonos. So I was using Spotify to review that. Then Capital FM, which is just one of my favourite radio stations, so I can listen to it whilst I'm working or doing things around the house. It's just an easy way to stream it. Then I've got my shopping apps, anything I use to buy things, so PayPal, Amazon, eBay. The Apple Store app is essential if you like buying Apple products on release day. They tend to load up quicker and you're able to purchase a lot quicker through the app than the standard website. I've always found this the past few years, the past iPhones and everything I have to buy on release day. Auto Trader because I'm constantly looking at cars. I'm actually planning to get rid of my Grand Insignia in a couple of months, and I'm looking towards the BMW Z4, not sure. Give me recommendations for cars, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. Deliveroo for whenever I'm in Manchester and I'm at my friend's office, I can get food delivered straight to me. Don't have to leave, I can stay editing using his sexy iMac Pro. Uncrate is a great one for finding cool and interesting things. A lot of the posts are now sponsored now that the app has gained some popularity, but there's still some really cool, interesting finds in there. Whether it's fashion, cars, tech, they cover all the bases, basically for any guy who is into cool stuff, basically. Airbnb is an app that I've never actually gotten the chance to use. I don't travel all that often, and when I do, it's either hotels if I'm in Spain, or when I go to Florida, I stay in the same house every year. We know the family that own it, so I get a good rate on it. Can't find anything cheaper on Airbnb at the moment. Pay by phone, just a parking app. A lot of the parking meters in Manchester here in the UK don't have coin slots anymore. You can only pay through the app or by ringing up, which is just a pain in the backside. So I've got the app for that. The lottery, because I one day want to be a millionaire. Starbucks, Uber, rental cars, they're all pretty standard. Then I have got my work folder, which is all of the apps I use for my YouTube videos, helping out with Cult of Mac, things like that. The first one is YouTube Studio, which gives you all of your statistics. It's an easy way to answer comments, see all of the analytics to see how many subscribers you're getting, how many dislikes, and it's just a great way to manage your YouTube channel whilst on the go. Get rid of the background music, it's annoying as hell. See, I like the background music. I admit some of the videos, they have been a little bit loud, but let me know in the comments down below. Music, no music, it just helps hide my edits because I'm rubbish at speaking fluently. Then Gmail is what I use for all of my Cult of Mac emails, which I am awful at. If you have sent me an email recently and have not replied to, I apologise. I'm going to be catching up whilst I'm away on holiday. Then I've got Dropbox because that is how Leander at Cult of Mac sends me all of his video files that I need to edit, so I can check them whilst I'm not at home, tell him he needs to refilm them because he's messed up on something. The Cult of Mac app. So if you've not already got it, we do a weekly Cult of Mac magazine, which is a collection of highlights of all of the latest stories from the past week. I use it all the time because there's always stories that I've missed whilst I'm busy filming or editing, so it's a great way for me to catch up. So if you like the covers, if you like the Cult of Mac website, make sure to download this, keep up to date with the latest. Yeah, it's a great app, I love it. We do need to update it so it fits the iPhone 10 size. I will make sure we work on that soon. So then I have got Behance, which is a great place to find inspiration for graphic design, or photography or anything kind of creative. They have got some of the best selections that people upload themselves. You can follow artists that you like, and it's just a great place for getting general inspiration. Then Dribble, very much the same thing again, and then Pages, so I can write my scripts, start writing posts, things like that. I'm constantly editing things whilst I'm on the go. And then I've got Finance, which is just all of my banking apps, and Coinbase for when I do dabble into cryptocurrencies. So then I have got the photo and video folder, which is all of the apps I use for my Instagram posts. Anytime I do any filming on my iPhone, I use Filmic Pro, purely because it's the best app for getting full control of your iPhone camera whilst filming, but you can individually control your aperture, your focus, everything like that. It's just a great app. You can see your audio levels really easily, your white balance, it's super easy to use and just makes the iPhone camera so much better. Then I have got Visco, which is a really nice app for editing photos. And it's really good for things like adjusting the exposure. As I find the Photos app, the stock iOS Photos app, when you're trying to change the exposure in there, it clips the highs really quickly, whereas this kind of starts bringing it up from the midtones and the shadows. So it just does exposure right, how I'm used to it in Photoshop and Lightroom and apps like that. Then you also get some nice looking filters. So if you're not a great editor, you're not into photo editing, you know, you get some different filters from the standard Instagram ones and give your posts a bit of individuality. Why can't I say that? Anyway, then I've got Hype Type, which adds animated text onto pictures. Then I've got Slow Shutter for long exposure style photos. If you'd like to see a full video on that, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I did a recent quick tips video about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, on how to get long exposure style photos within the Live Photos app. But with Slow Shutter, you can get a much more realistic result. So let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see that. Color Story, just another kind of filters app. Then the last one in here is Lightspace, which I've only come across recently. But if you remember those old iPod commercials where they had the iPods and they would draw the light, it's kind of like that. So it will track it in 3D. So just move around a little bit while it maps the room. So then it will track it in 3D space, which looks pretty darn cool. You can go through it, so you can then draw another one here, and another one here. And you can just make some pretty cool looking videos. You know, you can draw on objects. As I do a lot of visual effects, that's something I'm interested in. Being able to do things like this on my iPhone is just great fun for me. I've not found a practical use for it yet, but if you've got any ideas, let me know in the comment section down below. Or if you've made anything in the past, definitely link it. I'd love to check it out. Then 3 folders left. I've got my smart apps, which are all of the apps that interact with products that I own. So my Parrot Zics, which are... So with that, I can change the kind of the EQ settings of the headphones. So if I want it to sound like I'm in a concert hall, things like that. I actually prefer just the standard settings. I don't really play with it very often, but it's a great way to see, you know, how much battery is left on the headphones and things like that. Then the DJI Go for controlling my Spark. Then KooGeek, which is a word I don't like saying, but it links to my smart scales. I've done a full video on them as well. It's full of adverts though, so many adverts. It tracks how many steps you're doing. You can weigh yourself to see how heavy you are, how much weight I've put on, things like that. I am trying to get fit eventually. I put it on hold recently because I've been too busy to get to the gym, to go swimming. But once I'm back off my vacation or holiday, I will be trying to lose some weight just to stop those comments. Panasonic, so I am shooting this on a GH5, so with that I can get a mirror of what the camera is seeing, albeit with a slight delay, but it's not too bad. The latency isn't awful. I've got the GoPro app because I have a GoPro session, so I can link that up again to see what I am shooting. The Giant Play app for my stabilizer, again, done a video on that. And then MagMemo, which, depending on when I've uploaded this video, will be explained. I don't want to give it away too early as I am under a NDA. Then I've got the health folder. Again, like I said, I'm trying to lose some weight. I've not been wearing my Apple Watch recently because I recently got a Grail watch of mine that I've wanted for a long time. So I've not had it on properly for a few weeks, but as you can see, been trying to get fit, trying to shed some pounds. Fitness 7 and Calm are apps that I actually don't use very often. I've downloaded them with the intention of using, and again, when I get back, I'm going to try and start using them. Calm is a good app to kind of relieve you of stress and chill you out. It's got some kind of, not meditation, but like the sky talking to you in a really calm voice. Fitness, I actually can't remember what it is. Then the last folder are my games. I don't actually game on my iPhone all too often, purely because I prefer to have a controller if I can. But the game that I am playing and I am obsessed with at the moment is Marvel Strike Force. So Marvel Strike Force is I don't know what you'd call it. It's a pretty basic game in terms of like the combat. You press a button, you tap, and you just keep leveling up. I can't explain why I enjoy it so much. The graphics on it are really surprising for an iPhone game. Also the physics of it as well. When you defeat a character, they tend to, you know, get punched away and they go off into the distance. But if there's an object there that they collide with, they actually interact. I'll see if I can show you quickly. It's a really basic app. You can do it all with one touch. But there's something about it I enjoy doing. It's the game I find myself playing more than any other. It is really simple, but the amount of time that I do get to actually play games, I think that's what I need. You know, I don't play games like Fortnite or anything like that, just because I don't have the time. But when I do, I will probably play them on my PlayStation. I'm not very good at, you know, games with controllers either side with like little virtual joysticks. I can't get used to them. I need the kind of tactile feedback. So yeah, that's Marvel Strike Force. I'm going to come off this and it's probably going to crash QuickTime again. Then after Marvel Strike Force, the rest of them tend to be endless runners, such as Alto's Adventure. Really beautiful game, been playing it for years. I do need to try the new one, Alto's Odyssey. Stampede, again, another endless runner. Message from Santa is an app that I use to scare my daughter into being good when she's being naughty, so I can call Santa up. He can give her a warning, a reminder that Christmas is coming again. Heads Up, obviously a very famous game from Ellen. I don't think I have to explain that one. June, again, another endless runner, but just with a ball and sand dunes. Then, last but not least, is Prank Dial, which is an app I only come across recently, but it is a lot of fun. Basically, you can prank dial any of your friends or, you know, contacts that you do have, With a pre-recorded message, it will wait for them to reply and answer. Then it will record the message, and it will also hide your phone number. So they've got all different kinds of pranks depending on what you want. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring. I'm sure I've heavily edited this. But let me know in the comment section down below if you've got any recommendations for apps that I should check out, any games, anything like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll make sure to link all the wallpapers and cases and things like that in the description. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, show your support by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.